talk. Let's go. Let's get this going.
Oh, I saw her.
Good evening, everyone. Are we live?
We are.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Lake Worth Beach regular city commission meeting of Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Betty Rush.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sarah Maliga.
Present.
Commissioner Christopher McVoy is absent at present. Commissioner Mimi May.
I'm here.
Commissioner Ronaldo Diaz.
I'm present.
Okay. The invocation will be led by Vice Mayor Malega. I think I hear Commissioner McVoy coming in. I'll leave this then.
It's a bigger guy.
Thank you. Today, I just want us all to be mindful that there are people all across our great United States that are suffering from the horrific hurricane that went through. And let us just be mindful that we are one small town that will always work together to rebuild whatever it takes. And in this moment, just be kind, have grace, and truly do whatever you can to help those who are suffering in Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, and throughout our great state of Florida. If it's donating $1, if it's contributing prayers, or even a blanket, just please try to help out however you can, because it truly is what makes our great country great. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Are there any additional deletions or reorders?
I do have one, Madam Mayor.
What is
Public
that?
hearing D, the amended and restated transmission operator alliance agreement was moved to consent agenda F.
Okay, so which one was that?
Public hearing D it wasn't a public hearing item. It was moved to the consent agenda
Oh.
as it should have originally been.
Okay, thank you very much, but our agendas reflect that.
Yes, it was corrected and provided to you.
Thank you very much. Any motion on the corrected agenda? Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. First up, from Commissioner May. Yeah. We scared you there, didn't I? Yeah. A presentation of a challenge coin to Deputy Sheriff Kevin Millers from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office brought forward by Commissioner May, and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, I've never done this before.
Well, you'll be fine.
All right, well, come on up.
We have faith.
I'm gonna read this. This is Deputy Kevin Mellers, and I'm gonna read this so that everybody can hear it, and then I'm gonna come down to you. So this is the commendation from your sergeant, I believe they wrote to you. Okay, I'm gonna read it so everybody can tell what you did, because this is awesome.
Yes.
So I would like to take the opportunity to commend and recognize Deputy Kevin Mellers for his outstanding performance and heroism on a recent call for service. On August 20th, 2024 at, 03:40 hours, Kevin Mellers was dispatched to a routine 911 hang up. So somebody called and then hung up, and the dispatcher did not give up and still sent out the call in the area of the 900 North Dixie block in the city of Lake Worth Beach. After checking the area, he decided to check the local businesses that he knew were still open at that time. He knew the 7-Eleven convenience store located at 929 North Dixie Highway was a highly frequented business and stopped to make sure everything was okay. As he stepped into the business, he heard screaming coming from the rear of the store where the bathroom was located. He immediately requested backup via communications and headed straight to where the screaming was coming from. He opened the door and found a suspect committing sexual battery on a female store clerk. He simultaneously removed the victim from harm's way and was able to subdue and apprehend the subject single-handedly prior to any backup deputies responding. The suspect was someone who frequented the business. That night he walked in, stole merchandise, and dragged the victim by her arm to the restroom while threatening to murder her. He then forced himself upon her, committing sexual battery. I believe Kevin Mellers' quick thinking and attention to detail saved the life of this female victim and prevented additional trauma. So please join me and the rest of the sheriff's office and the rest of the city commission as we honor Deputy Mellors with a City of Lake Worth Beach Challenge coin for going above and beyond, as well as a certificate of appreciation for your service. Thank you so much.
Be in front of the microphone, so everybody can hear you.
Right.
Yep, so there you go, so everybody in YouTube can hear you. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'd like to also thank you for the brave act.
Can't hear you.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for your brave act on that night, for what you did. Saved the life, people dead of a very violent crime. So good job, man. You know, a quick reaction. Appreciate it.
Thank you all, thank you all. You know, it's not every day that we get to respond to a violent crime in progress and have the opportunity to intervene and help someone in time of crisis, but you know, moments like that are what we really, why I got this job in the first place, and it just means a lot to be able to be in a position to help.
Well, we're so grateful.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
It's smart, right, that's the street.
Welcome.
Next up, a presentation regarding the state of education by our own Erica Whitfield, our District 4 School Board member. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you all so much. I'm gonna make a quick little presentation and then I have so many principals here and I want to make sure that they all get to say hello. Or at least wave at you. So very briefly, my name is Erica Whitfield. I've been your school board member now for 10 years. I'm in this position because of the city of Lake Worth. Because I live here and I care about this community and my children live here. And so what a better reason than to be here to talk about education. Couple of things that are going on right now. I'm gonna save the school updates till the end so that, and hopefully you guys will help me and come take a picture with our principal. That would be wonderful. I'd love that. But one thing that you're gonna see on your ballot coming forward, and I'm gonna pass these up to you. We have our referendum for our capital improvements will be on the ballot again. And for those of you who already received your mail-in ballots, you'll see it. It's pretty much at the bottom on the back. Please feel free to get there. And the question is whether or not we keep our sales tax. Right now, we have a half a cent of a sales tax. We went and got our full cent 9 years ago, and we collected the money that we said we were going to collect. Half of that cent came to the school district, the other half went to the cities and to the county. They have chosen, as you all know, not to go forward with that again. As far as the community, but the school district is going forward and asking for that funding to continue. So right now, as a community, we are at 7 cents for sales tax on every dollar. And with the addition of this, with the continuation of this, we will actually drop down to 6.5 cents because half cent is not going to be requested by the county and the cities again. If the community does not accept this, then it would drop down to 6 cents on every dollar. So just so everyone is clear about the continuation, what that would mean for your bills. The reason why this is so important, we have had such a problem following 2008 recession where we did not fix up our buildings. We didn't fix our schools. We were not putting any money into that because we were really having to constrict and put all our money into general operating. That made it so that we were very far behind on our capital improvements. Due to the funding that we have had for the last 9 years, we have been able to build new schools. We've been able to fix the ones we have. We have put in HVAC systems, flooring, new roofs. We have fixed up our security issues that we were having post Stoneman Douglas. We had to put in a lot of single point entries and the work that had to be done to make sure that our schools were completely secure with fencing around it. That came from this money. The other thing that was really important from this money was we were able to react to COVID very well. That funding was able to get every one of our students a computer, and we were able to put smart boards in every classroom. And so that has made it so we are technologically an advanced community where our students have computers to take home and do their homework. And then, as you all know, you supported us with the infrastructure improvements for Wi-Fi in this community. This all goes hand in hand. This is all a big part of that. So I wanted to bring this forward and just put myself in front of you. If you have any questions as a commission or a community about this tax going forward, this continuation of this tax.
I don't have any questions. I would love to see more of this money come to our Lakewood school, Lakewood Beach schools.
It's actually, if you're interested, you have a lot of principals here that can tell you exactly what it's going for, but we have seen some improvements. Luckily, Lakewood schools weren't as old as some of the other ones. We did have some improvements not too long ago on them. However, every school needs improvements still. They're used every day. They're used very hard. So these students are coming and going through them. So we have to be constantly improving them. And there's so many things to be done. So yes, I'm constantly fighting for that. And there you'll see a bunch of improvements that have been going on. Specifically at Lakewood High right now, there's quite a bit going on.
Those gates are amazing. I was up there the other day and like getting in there now is very different than it used to be, but.
Yeah.
that's what you need
So
to
the
do.
metal detectors are another piece that we have added in for safety and security only at the high school so far. There are some contemplations about going to the middle school with the metal detectors. But that is a huge expense and we don't really have as many problems at the middle school level. So right now it's just high school. So it's something that we have to consider going forward.
Well, these fences look better than the chain link fences that were up for a while. The kids were like not happy about. Thank you very much for all that you do, really. We know that you advocate for us. Mr. McBoy?
Just a very, very specific,
Lights.
just a very specific one request for Lakewood High School. And it's weird to ask it now, but every time I bike by there, I think of it and then I don't remember to send you pictures. If you bike on the south side of Lake Worth Road from Tri-Rail or 95 alongside of the school, you will almost always have sand all over that sidewalk.
We're working on that. That's actually something that we're working on right now.
That would be great, because it's been years that it's on a slope and it just always erodes and it's
A
not.
little
very
bit about because of that dot property and then our property butting up against each other, but I can get back to you with more details on it.
That'd be great, because that's
Absolutely.
just a little, obviously not very educational, but it is.
No,
a
no, I
safety.
totally get it. It's definitely good. I agree.
Ms. May?
Oh, I just wanted to thank you for coming and sharing with us. I do have one of the questions about the penny sales tax that I don't know, besides the maintenance of the schools, it also goes to help with the teachers' salaries, correct?
Not this one.
No,
That's the
this
other
one.
referendum.
That's
We have
the
two
other
referendums.
referendum.
I know, I
Okay.
apologize for taxing you so much, but really, we need it.
Yes, you
So
do, don't
there
you?
are, yes, so there's this one is.
So this
specifically
sales
for
tax, the
capital.
other one is the property tax.
Right, property tax.
Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that. Okay, because I don't know that I mean, I'm sure other people might have
No, no,
been
it's totally
confused too.
Totally.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McBoy?
The other question is longstanding issue is safety to get over to the middle school crossing at 10th Avenue
We're
North.
working on that. That bridge is.
It'd be very interesting to have a pedestrian crossway if that could ever be done. I'm in communication with TPA and some others on that, but in the meantime, is there any chance of crossing guards at the exit ramps on 95? That's the
So
place.
I have been in conversation, this is actually a sheriff's department issue, believe it or not, we do not
Yeah.
do the crossing guards, so the question is whether or not they can. We've been back and forth many times, they don't generally provide them for middle schools, they are welcome to, we love it, we've actually asked for the high school, and we'll get somebody occasionally, but it is really up to the sheriff's department to make that decision on, school crossing guards. As far as the intersection, they are rebuilding it again, as you know. So during that rebuild, I think this is the opportunity that we have to make it safer for our children. I actually drove on 10th today and watched kids crossing, and it is, I can see why everybody worries. It makes me worried as well. One thing that I would say is we actually had an event last week. I know nobody was able to come because you had a budget meeting, but we had an event at Lake Worth High School. At the goal, the original goal was specifically around transportation, because we had so many children that are not utilizing our buses. We've managed to make sure that there's buses for everybody east of 95 to get to Lake Worth Middle that they don't take. So we have to get that word out about the buses, and then really convince people that they're safe, because I think that's the concern in the community. So I wanted to have families have an opportunity to speak to our transportation department, and we brought them there. We're gonna try to do another event in December, and if we can do that event, we can encourage people in the city to please send people, so that we had translators in every language. The idea is that, you know, if you don't feel like you trust the buses, you're not gonna use them, and then, you know, the children are walking, and so we want to overcome whatever the problem is, because I do think the buses are safer. Yeah, we've been down this road many times. It's frustrating because I want to talk to the families. So we've been talking with Guatemala Maya Center, the Karen Dad Center, you know, Miss Reggie, or the children, trying to communicate as best we can. But with your help, I know we can overcome this, because I want to make sure the children are safe.
It's interesting, I mean, as dangerous as it is, I don't know, ever hearing of a child who's actually been hit or, you know, killed on that street, which is so lucky, so fortunate. And I do believe the DOT is talking, you know, we've talked about, a few people talked about a bridge, a pedestrian bridge, and I think they're talking about it.
It would be incredible. You know, we've had some concerns about where it would come in.
Combat, yeah.
But I think we could protect it with
There's a way to
fences.
do it.
There are ways, there's always a way, so we just have to work through the issue. If they're willing to put the money for it, we would do it.
Thank you again.
Okay, well, let's
Always
go to
good
the
to
most
see you.
important.
Now we go to the next one.
Okay, so, the reason why I wanted to really come here tonight, besides telling you guys about the referendum that is coming up, is Lake Worth has had a killer year for education, and we are so proud, and I just want to make sure that we recognize these principals who have done such an unbelievably amazing job. And tonight, I think we have 5 of 6.
Could you call them up, please?
I would love to. Okay, so we have Mrs. Patterson from North Grade Elementary. Okay, come on up from Highland Elementary, Miss Delaney. Miss Taylor. Did you know you were Miss Taylor from Lake Worth Middle? And Miss Taylor Cruz from South Grade Elementary. What I want you all to know, so we're gonna point out everybody here. So Miss Dela Cruz has only been on the job for 2 months at South Grade Elementary. Super proud of her. Her predecessor actually moved to Barton, so she's still in our community. I don't think she's here tonight. Miss Arce Gonzalez. Oh, she's coming. All right, well, if she comes in, we'll have her. Miss Arce Gonzalez actually raised that school grade from a C to a B, and we're incredibly so she steps into the footsteps of giants, but she actually came from Barton. So they're trading locations. Barton went from a D to a C. They're so unbelievably proud of them. Highland Elementary, Miss May raise your hand, went from a D to a C as well. We are so proud of them. Lake Worth Middle and Lake Worth High have both maintained Cs, but you guys are this close, right? It's so close to getting Cs. We're very proud of them. And then lastly, we have our 8th school in Addison. North Grade Elementary has had an A for a few years now. We are so proud. I wanted to make sure that this community understands what these women are doing for the city of Lake Worth. They are just really living up to the challenges of this community. They are recognizing our children. They are paying attention to them. They are talking to the families. They are getting them involved. They are really putting the time in, and it has shown. And this is just an amazing showing for our schools. There are no D schools in the city of Lake Worth anymore, and I can say that I think they're just going to keep getting better and better. So I'm thrilled, and thank you, City of Lake Worth, for allowing me to bring them here and to receive the recognition of you all.
Well, thank you. And now I'm gonna read the proclamation.
We have administrators here too. Okay, well, so we have Valerie Zologa Haynes, who is, thank you for coming up. This is our area superintendent. And then Karen Wetzel, who is the overseer of the higher grades, so middle and high school. You want to come up here? Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
So, good evening, City of Lake Worth Beach. I just wanted to, to have this opportunity to really recognize the hard work of our schools, our students, our parents, because it does take a village, right? It takes an entire community. It takes you as leaders, it takes our principals, our teachers, and our hard work from our students for all of our City of Lake Worth Beach schools to score the highest they have scored in the last 12 years. This past year has been the highest. And so we are so proud of their work and they're working super hard to keep it going. Highland was only 2 points away from the B.
Wow, wow.
So it is still amazing work. The fact that Northgate has maintained an A-rated school as a dual language program that is also K-8. That we also have kindergarten through 8th grade at Northgate. Lake Worth High School is expected to have their graduation rate over 95%.
Yay.
I mean, so if you look at all of those specific changes, Lake Worth Middle School went from being overseen and also supported by the state to exit that. It's amazing. And the same thing with Barton. I know Stella Cruz was there at Barton while that work was happening, and now she is at Southgrade, but also Dr. R.C. Gonzalez, who I'm sure why she's not here right now is because she's still either in the community doing home visits or working with the community in Lake Worth. So much so that she was able to move Southgrade Elementary first time in 12 years from a D, a C to a B.
Wow.
It's amazing. So it's really incredible work, and it takes the focus. It takes the support from our community. It takes a lot of home visits, but it also takes a trust from our community that the work that we're doing in the City of Lake Worth schools is something that we need to be very proud of. So these leaders are doing amazing work, and they're leading the amazing work of our teachers and their commitment. They're working, so many hours, I couldn't even tell you. They're staying after school 5, 6 o'clock to plan for the next day. So our folks are working super hard, and most importantly, our students are succeeding.
Right.
And you will have students that will be this future world that is coming sooner than we know, because of the work that's happening in your schools. So we are very proud of that, and we need to make sure that we share and voice those accomplishments out in the community, because it will keep us going. The only ask that we have, I have to come with an ask. Is that you please, one of our biggest barriers, one of our biggest challenges, but we also, a challenge we see as an opportunity. And so is to increase, there's Dr. Arcee. We're just celebrating you. Dr. Arcee coming up.
So much for sneaking in.
Come on. There's no sneaking in. I'm just sneaking in. So, Dr. Arcee, as I mentioned, she did amazing work over at Southgrade for 7 years, moved it to a B, and now is doing turnaround work at Barton Elementary School. So stayed within our schools. Also, important note, all of our schools in the City of Lake Worth Beach have dual language Spanish programs. Every single one of them. All 4 elementary, the middle school, and also now the high school. And so we are not only educating all of our students to be bilingual, but also bicultural and also biliteral. So this is just amazing work. The ask is attendance. We really need your help in sharing that information out. I know that our principals are out and their school counselors and whatnot, and teachers doing, and parent liaisons are doing home visits to really, really help our parents understand the importance of being in school. We can't teach them if they're not in class. And so that is probably our biggest barrier, but we call those opportunities for a mind change, right? And to be able to make sure that our students are in school. So that's the only ask that we have. Please help us encourage attendance. We pretty much have everything else under control. You're doing with the hard work.
And in honor of these amazing, I won't say ladies, but it's all ladies here tonight.
Girl power.
Girl power.
That's right.
The
Wonderful.
city has a proclamation for you.
All right. Fabulous.
Whereas every October, National Principals Month shines a spotlight on the transformative power of our school principals. These dedicated leaders play an essential role in shaping their communities, paving pathways to success for every student and staff member in their schools. And whereas school principals play an important part in the education and growth of children in elementary, middle, and high schools in the city of Lake Worth Beach. And whereas school principals are responsible for promoting education and working with parents and teachers to ensure that each child receives services that meets their needs to excel in the classroom. And whereas educational leaders face many challenges in educating our young people, and it is through their perseverance and passion that they continue to produce quality, career-ready students. And whereas we must continue to encourage, support, and recognize those who have a positive impact on students and the educational system in the city of Lake Worth Beach. And whereas the city of Lake Worth Beach recognizes outstanding principals who have succeeded, we love you, in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students as well as their exemplary contributions to their profession. Now therefore, I, Betty Resch, Mayor of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as National Principals Month. In honor of all the service of all elementary, middle, and high school principals, and to further recognize the importance of school leadership so every child has access to high-quality education to celebrate school leadership accomplishments, and witness whereof I have set my hand in the seal of the city of Lake Worth this first day of October 2024. Thank you so much. The most underprivileged, the most unrecognized, unrespected, low-paid people, and the passion that you bring is amazing. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Westphal. Come join us.
Movie don't fit.
Wow. All right, Ms. Ellis and Mr. Branson, 15 in the middle. Squeeze that. You should make the second row. Okay. There we go.
We're trying to sort of.
Betty, we need to be able to see you, and we've got one hiding back here.
Oh, I think we're good.
You can't see the cameras, they won't see you.
How's that?
I can see, I'm good.
Everybody, close your eyes on three. One, three.
Housing for Saturday.
Yeah.
From education to libraries. Oh, the very area. The very area. Like,
We're gonna call you guys out, like, just stand back, so we're gonna cross, I think. Ready to go.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Who are you?
I am Cindy Ansell, your city librarian, and happy to give a library report. And it's just so thrilling for me to follow that group because we have a relationship, the library has a relationship with every one of those people that's standing out there. They have, we've encouraged them, they've encouraged us. We do programs together, we work together as much as we can, especially on the attendance issue. So, and to see our schools on the trajectory up is just makes my heart go. So, we are fortunate to have that group of people, in our city working for us. So I was thrilled to see that. But I'm here to talk about the library and the exciting things going on. Now, while I'm talking, my technical person, Tiana McKay, is going to be handling the slideshow because I can't click and talk at the same time. So she's going to do that. And my library staff, part of my library staff is gonna circulate around giving out some handouts to you all. So I can talk while they walk. So they're gonna be doing that. But yeah, so there it is, the Lake Worth Beach City Library. I have news, I have reports on services and events that are happening in the library. The news, the first part is we're back to 5 days. After a long time. We're so happy to be open Tuesday through Saturdays now, 9:30 to 5:30. With our staff challenges, we just couldn't do it before, but now we can, so you guys can start handing stuff out. But that's our news right on. As far as services go, I've got some really exciting news about some things that we're going to be doing. Services, that's right. The first thing is a platform that we offer to everyone that has a library card. You can sign into this. It's called BrainFuse. This is a huge platform that has everything from, as you see, Job Now, it has Health Now, it has College Now, it has Vet Now. This platform, if somebody needs a live tutor, you can sign in and there's a person who can actually talk you through your math problem or whatever you've got. I mean, it's live. So this platform is amazing. We have a booklet that we've been distributing to every teacher in Palm Beach County gets this so that they'll know about it. And it's available to anyone who lives in our town that has a library card. So it's a cool platform. We're still finding out all the things it has. So, but we're working on it. But you can see it's a huge platform that offers very personalized service on a lot of different areas. The second thing you see up there is the Cloud Library, and that is our e-service that we're so happy about. We've had ebooks for a while now through the Cloud Library, but we're adding another part of the Cloud Library. There's something called Biblio Plus. That is movies and TV shows that you can stream through the Cloud Library. There's also Newsstand, which is another part of the Cloud Library, which is magazines and newspapers from around the world in many languages. And then there's a Comics Plus, which has thousands of graphic novels, from ones for little kids to adults, different languages. So graphic novels are there too. And I mentioned the newspaper. So those are two really important e-services that we now offer. And they're available 24/7 because you can just, on your phone, just put in your library card number and everything is up and ready for you to go. So we're excited to be offering those. So next, I would like to just talk about a few events that the library sponsored. I have to give a shout out to Commissioner May, who introduced us to Brandon Bryant, a former Bills player who went to FAU and lives in Boca. We had the Literacy Unleashed event, and he's an author. He was there signing his books and talking to the kids in the gym. That was a great, we had 126 people come to that event. We're looking to do things like that in the future. Our signature event, Biblio-Arte with Raul III. You can see 1,500 attendees, the students that were there, And the author, Raul went to all of our Lake Worth City schools, all the principals that were up here. Yeah, welcomed him to their schools to talk to the kids. So, we're gonna be doing that again this year. Our event, our author is Eugene Morales. First time we're having a woman come, and she does some amazing work. So that's gonna be on March 8th. So those are some of our events, but if you look, we also have all these events scheduled. And this starts in January, but I'm gonna start off with October. Because beginning this month, we're bringing back our story times, the second Friday every month. We'll have a story time in the library. But we'll also be bringing back the story times that we do in the bridges. So we're gonna do the bridges of Highland and the bridges of Lake Worth. We'll be doing story times there. So we're excited to bring
Cindy, what time is it? You said the second Friday?
the second Friday
At what time?
10:30. Okay, so those story times programs coming back, so we're very happy about that. The next program that we're introducing, due to the success of every music program we've ever offered in the library, they've all been packed. We are having Jazz in the Library, which is going to be October through June on Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4. Neil Baker, his group, which is regionally known, he's played in Miami and, you know, different places, he's well known. He's gonna have a jam session in the library once a month on Sunday afternoons. So he has taught at Palm Beach State College, and so a lot of his students are gonna be sitting in. So it's a jam session. I know nothing about what a jam session is because I don't play a musical instrument, but I enjoy music, so I'm gonna be sitting there and listening. But it's gonna be really fun on Sunday afternoons. So that starts on October 13th is our first one.
At 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, 1 to 4. And so those are things that didn't make this calendar, but I wanted to show you these special events that are happening. January 4th, we're gonna have a Comic-Con. And if you don't know what a Comic-Con is, it's everybody who loves characters, right? So if you love comics, if you love dressing up, if you love playing video games and board games, it's a big event. And Jennifer Movick, who is our literacy programmer, is a big comic girl and has all the contacts with the comic stores in the area. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So
Shout out.
yeah, Jennifer's there in the back. She's the one who put the PowerPoint together and she does all our beautiful library literature. We've been overhauling everything, branding it. It looks really super good. So yeah, so she's bringing the Comic-Con in. On the 25th, we're gonna have the Luminaries, which is a gala in the library. The Friends of the Library helping us do this because it's actually gonna be a fundraiser, but it's just gonna be really nice, dress up cool event. And we haven't done one of those, as you can see, in 30 years. I played in the last one. I'm still around. So,
Well,
okay, February, we're having the Adult Tea Party. It's the first annual meeting of the Tea and Book Lovers Society. With our kids' tea parties that we do around Mother's Day, they were so popular that all the adults are like, we want to have a tea party too. So we're gonna have a tea party for adults. Okay. In March is Bibliolarte. April's, we get National Library Week. We don't get National Library Month like the principals do, but we're not gonna. Yeah, we weren't gonna say.
we get you.
That's right.
We get nothing.
That's right. Ministers, I'm sorry. Okay, and then May 10th is gonna be our kids' tea party. It's gonna be a Mary Poppins tea party, and then our summer reading program. So those are some of the programs that are going on at the library. You've got a calendar. You'll be seeing things on social media and our website, all kinds of things like that. The next thing I want to talk about is innovations. These are some projects we're doing at the library. In January, we're going to roll out a loop with the library, which is a walking tour of downtown Lake Worth. It's an app that you put on your phone, a free app, and as people walk, it's gonna tell them about the different buildings. It'll go from the library up Lucerne, across, they're gonna look at the city hall across, and then they're gonna go back down Lake. And so it tells a little bit about the history and just different things that they're gonna see as they walk along. So we're gonna roll that out in January. Excited about that. We're also gonna be teaming up with local realtors We're gonna give them a book bag that says, welcome to Lake Worth Beach, for them to give to homeowners, people who purchase homes, rent apartments, whoever they're working with. There'll be a welcome bag, kind of like the old, you remember, like.
Yeah,
A
welcome
welcome
back.
wagon, okay, well, this is our take
Let the
on
city,
that.
let us join in on that one.
Yes, we will, and Dan is making sure that leisure gets some stuff in there. too. Yes, and yes, so, I mean, it'll probably
It's a
be,
great
by the
idea.
time we get through it, it'll be a nice bag, it's gonna be heavy.
I
It's gonna have a lot of good stuff, but you know,
think he's
it's
gonna bake things.
new people. New people that move here often don't know all the different things that there are in our city, so we decided we would step up and do that. And then the last thing, the innovation we're going to do, I'm putting together a Lake Worth Beach ABC poster and ABC book. And that's, I'm making that, that's mine. So
You're relentless.
I want to
You are,
say,
you're relentless. I love it.
A for. A is for Atlantic Ocean.
Ah,
You know what Z is?
yes.
Z is for zombie apocalypse.
Oh, I love
Oh. Do you remember the zombie? It's Lake Worth. Okay. that's-
We gotta get into Lakewood, we just had the principals here, let's get into. schools.
Yeah.
Identifying like.
That's right. That's right. I had a little trouble with with why, but I believe it may turn out to be, it's not all in stone yet, is the yellow-tailed snapper that you can catch at our pier. So anyway, we'll find out. I have to leave some to you guys to find out.
Ms. Milligan's comment.
Thank you. Your loop at the library, from what you were just describing it, are you taking the board game and almost
Yes.
bringing it to life? Because that's what I'm.
To
That's
the
what I'm-
Lid City board game,
Okay.
exactly.
That's
Thank
what-
you for that
that's-
shout out.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were
Yes.
trying to bring it to life, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I forgot my other shout outs, which are to Commissioner Diaz, who got us the piano so that we can have our jazz session. We just got it tuned today because of thanks to Mimi for her donation. So thank you. And of course, for your unending support of the library. We really appreciate it. And I can't stop without saying thank you to the staff.
All right.
And they're here. We have and she does adult services at the library. She helps people get their laptops going and all that kind of stuff. That's what, and takes care of all the new books, keeping them up to date. That's her job. And I told you, Jennifer, what she does. And Stephanie Abel in the back. She's the first person I see when you walk in the library, and she does circulation and she does anything that anybody needs, she helps them with. So, and including, she does help us with our collection, when people need reader's guidance, she helps with that too. And, who's in the picture but not here is, Anne Marie, who has been with the library for 24 years.
Wow.
So she's still young, so it's like her first job right out of high school. So, Anne Marie Marcel is there, and we didn't have her here tonight, but our library intern, Araceli Lasanta, who, she's doing great. She's doing the children's, she's gonna be doing the story times. She's a Lake Worth product, Lake Worth Bridges, all of our schools. She lives on South D. Probably shouldn't tell her address, but anyway. So what I'm telling you is your library staff, we're all Lake Worthers. So it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, it's a great staff. It's a great library. Thank goodness we have our own library. And thank goodness for all the hard work that you do. And the meeting room is a complete success. It's wonderful.
And if you haven't seen the meeting room since the last, maybe a month ago, we have banners now that hang on our meeting room walls that we change out monthly. And right now, for this month, they're pictures of the library. But for October, it's kind of a Day of the Dead, Halloween kind of banners. And then for November, we're gonna have flags because it's election. And so we're changing them out. So rather than painting something on the wall that's there permanently, we can change these
Great.
banners out and it looks even better. So.
And you have art things sometimes.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
too,
and so
you-
they're
yeah.
easy to take these
Right.
down and then we could do art installations when we need to do that. Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really.
library has completely been refreshed.
I know.
Your excitement is contagious. I love it.
Well, it's awesome. It's just the best library ever and in the best town ever. So what can we do? But be excited about it. So cool.
They're gonna get it right up.
I went to a reunion of the Broward County Library, where that's where I worked before I came here. And they all said, we've got to get to Lake Worth and see that library. I said,
Yes,
yes,
you
you do.
Come to the gala,
Oh, I'm in-
pay your money,
Yeah.
help us raise funds.
They'll get you
Always thinking, aren't you, Mary?
I am. Thank you so much. Cindy.
How about the staff?
No.
Okay. No, John, what do you want a picture?
Yeah, sure.
Let's take one. I look like a goofball. Oh. Okay.
Cindy, when do you mind? When would you mind?
Okay, ready?
Trick or read.
Oh.
You're asking them.
But it's too.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Not sign up.
Thank you.
For the Jesse, you don't have to sign up, you just have to show up.
It's a picture.
Would you just mind the buttons there?
It is.
First turn it back.
Well, when I went to college,
And
I
I-
studied to be a teacher, and they said,
Oh,
don't
it's
live
like
in the
doing
city you teach in. And never let them see you in here for us. Dating myself. Up next, a proclamation, declaring October 7th through 11th as Customer Service Week, and we have some of our customer service here today, I see. A proclamation, a thriving free enterprise system provides consumers with a wide range of goods and services from which to choose. And whereas the most successful businesses are those that display a strong commitment to customer satisfaction. And whereas today foreign competition as well as consumer demands are requiring greater corporate efficiency and productivity. And whereas if the United States is to remain a leader in the changing global economy, highest quality customer service must be a personal goal of every employee in business and industry and government. And whereas a business built on customer service understands and anticipates the customer's needs and designs goods and services to meet those needs. And whereas a business will do a better job of providing higher quality goods and services by listening to its employees and by empowering them with the opportunities to make a difference. And whereas customer service professionals work in the front lines where an organization meets its customers and where supply meets demand. And whereas with responsive policies and procedures and with simple courtesy, customer service professionals can go a long way towards ensuring customer satisfaction. Now, therefore, I, Betty Resch, Mayor of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim October 7th through 11th, 2024 as Customer Service Week. Invite all citizens, and I invite all citizens of the City of Lake Worth Beach to observe this week with appropriate programs and activities, and thanking our very hardworking employees for the work that they do. Thank you very much. Come on, lady. Come
Get up there. Don't make me get my steps in. Show your team play. Did you hear? Oh, no, you're too busy. That's what yours. We're helping us. Yeah, you better. Just get up there.
Keep that up.
Thank you for your hard work. Good time. Good time. How we get there? Ramsey, we have to put you in my house. We're having such a great time here tonight. I love the presentation. I can't wait to get my library card. Me too. You're up next. Yes. Not as bad. You don't have to library. Huh? It's not for the Lakewood Library to live. The Library of Congress. I do. They email me. I want to. I'm sure they do. I don't know. Did you know about the library?
Up next. Always calling. Whereas LGBTQ History Month is an annual month-long observance of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender history. I'm just waiting for the crowd to settle down. Oh, children. And the history of the gay rights and related civil rights movement. And whereas LGBT History Month first originated in the United States, founded in 1994 by Missouri High School history teacher Rodney Wilson, who chose October as the month for the celebration because National Coming Out Day occurs on October 11th, and the first National March on Washington for lesbian and gay rights by the LGBTQIA+ people took place on October 1979. And whereas the city of Lake Worth Beach recognizes the gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning intersexual and asexual Americans have made and continue to make great and lasting contributions that continues to strengthen the fabric of society as they continue to struggle for equity and equal rights for the LGBTQIA+ residents and city employees. And whereas LGBT History Month reminds both the LGBTQIA+ and wider communities of important roles that the LGBTQIA+ people have taken in creating the social, legal, and political worlds in which we live today. And whereas the city of Lake Worth Beach is committed to the academic success of all youth and to removing barriers to that end, and we believe that the LGBTQIA+ youth and their families should feel included and safe to learn without the fear of harassment and discrimination. And whereas LGBTQIA educators, students, and families should be supported to live in an affirming community and live their lives with dignity and respect. And whereas community-based organizations such as our own Compass have partnered with our city, other community leaders, and the school district of Lake Worth of Palm Beach County to educate, support, and provide resources to promote safe learning environments for all families. And whereas the city of Lake Worth Beach appreciates and recognizes the importance of LGBT History Month as an effective means of educating and calling to action its citizens to work together to promote equal protection of all residents and city employees, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. Now, therefore, I, Betty Resch, Mayor of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in me and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as LGBTQ. It's LGBT, but I'm going to go LGBTQIA+ History Month. In witness whereof I have set my hand and have a seal of the City of Lake Worth Beach affixed this first day, October 2024. Thank you. Would you like to come up and say a few words? Michael, Julie.
No.
We appreciate this so much. As you know, representation matters, and that's no more apparent than here in our sanctuary city of Lake Worth Beach, and I love it here. And we were not being disrespectful earlier. We were actually enjoying and laughing about the presentation and the fact that you all seem to be having a good time tonight, and I appreciate that. I think that most of us would like to live in a city where we take our work seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So thank you for this information.
Thank you very much. Should we go down?
Oh, no. You don't work for a living. Go ahead.
Michael.
You know I was gonna try to get out.
Not this time.
Where's Jill?
Tuesday, Korean Tuesday, I'm going for two.
I mean, I like.
Hey.
Yeah, I think we should. And last but not least, certainly not least, a proclamation commemorating the 95th anniversary of Grand Chapel brought forward by Vice Mayor Malega. Would you like to read this?
I would be honored.
I thought you might.
Thank you. Reverend Rashad Rogers is here, and I see two of the parishioners, maybe more. I see Mr. Bart Cunningham. I see Miss Trudy Lowe. So if you, either one of you or any other parishioners would like to step up forward with Reverend Rogers, they're like, nope. Come on up, it's a family affair. Thank you for coming tonight. So this is a proclamation, as the mayor just said, honoring 95 years of Grant Chapel in the Osborne community. Whereas the city of Lakewood Beach is home to many worship centers, places of faith and spirituality that represent all of our community. Where first church services started in the streets of Washington Avenue and Douglas Street. And whereas Rev Anderson, an unordained minister, led church services for the native Black community on Douglas Street starting in 1927. The wooden shacks with which they held services was destroyed by a storm in 1928. And whereas Rev Anderson was gifted $1.50 from the white family in which he worked to purchase the land that he and the community needed to rebuild the church. Anderson and the members completed the one-room wooden structure in 1929, officially naming Grant Methodist Church. And whereas Grant Chapel was led by Rev Anderson until 1940, when Rev J.B. Blake became pastor, followed by Rev H.M. Salmon, who had led the efforts to build a new concrete building, which then became reality on April 7th, 1944. And whereas the church grew numerically and spiritually, by 1947, the church held 2 services, Sunday school and ACE League, as well as music lessons for the children, some of which are still members of the church today. And whereas in 1963, Grant Chapel was remodeled under the leadership of Rev James Askew with minor upgrades made since its completion, as well as additional parking for the future growth. And whereas there have been over 24 pastors who have led this great church over its 95 years, including its first female pastor, Rev Betty White, and not the one on the Golden Girls. And whereas the city of Lakewood Beach City Commission acknowledges the importance of the church as a cornerstone to the Osborne community and its positive impact to the city. And whereas the 95th anniversary celebration of Grant Chapel affords us an opportunity to recognize the accomplishments of Grant Chapel. And now, therefore, she, Betty Rush, the mayor of the city of Lakewood Beach, Florida, by the virtue and authority vested in her, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby congratulate Grant Chapel on the 95th anniversary, and we recognize the contribution to our city and the lives of all of our residents. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you haven't been to a service there, you need to go. Because when Mimi goes, is that the fun church that we went to? Would you like to say a few words, sir, before we come down?
Yes, I want to say thank you to the city of Lake Worth, to the commissioner, Mayor Rich. You have been supportive to Grant Chapel down through the years. When I look back over the program, I always see at the church anniversary, someone from the county commissioner welcomes the participants to Grant Chapel. And I shared with my family back in Jacksonville about Mimi. She just had the smile on her face. She says, I heard we're gonna be at 3 hours. I said, no, Mimi, we won't be there 3 hours. There are 2, won't be there 3 hours, but there were 2, right? Well, we had a good time, and we just thank you for all that you do, for the citizens of, Lake Worth Beach, and we will to continue our fine relationship.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Come on.
Next, contribute to the allowed.
Yeah, really. Be on either side.
I know, but look how pretty.
Just say.
Yeah, everybody in? Everybody in?
Come on, Mark. Wait.
Ask all the questions.
I'll make sure you get a copy. Won't be Tiana.
Yes.
Yes. She's like, whatever you say. Yeah, heard you.
Make sure, yeah.
Be clicking up for it. Okay, park your body. Just pretty quick on the high.
Just because.
Sneaky. You guys want to open that? Yeah. Here's the problem. They've all gone to school since they all grew up together.
Yes.
It is. Your heart, it's still always.
Ready? There you go.
And then Tuesday is CRA. Yep. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. Thank you. I just. Thank you for coming. I just was. I don't know why you do. Can't tell.
Right.
Right.
I think it's gonna be awesome.
Well, the Methodist Church celebrated 100, and then they closed.
Yeah, they.
Didn't have fun in here.
She
was like. Same thing. We got it. Right.
You texted that day, you're like, oh my gosh, I almost just, what, just go.
Really simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was really for like 5 minutes.
And then it went away. No, it really is a great service. It is, it's super fun. Yeah, also likes to go there is,
Rico, yeah, we are up to, public participation of non-agenda items and the consent agenda. First up with public comments is Todd Townsend. Followed by Edward Grimm, followed by Kevin Stringers.
Todd, I owe you a phone call. Or an email. Hi, Paul. Hi, Logan.
Hi, Todd Townsend, 502 South J Street. Sorry if everybody's having a great time.
It's that fun.
It's more important to hear it right from the. Oh, anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about the proposed, this imaginary parking garage behind the theater. It would have to be a gigantic parking garage. There's not enough space there. This is a recording of the July 9th CRA meeting where Ms. Miller actually says that they would be able to accomplish the type of parking garage that Lake Worth Beach desperately needs. So essentially, that parking garage would have to cover the spaces that are there, then also cover the spaces that we would lose with the new building, and then cover spaces that we need to expand our parking, which is the big problem in downtown Lake Worth Beach. And she says right here, it's minute 18. Of course, my phone doesn't want to do it for me. But if anybody wanted to go back, that's the July 9th meeting, minute 18, hear it for yourself. Thank you all very much and have a great night.
Thank you. Up next, Edward Grimm.
Edward Grimm, 419 South K Street. Good evening, everyone. I want to address you tonight, concerned about the foreclosed property registration program. And I want to urge you to take a look at it. I feel that it's a failed program. And I'd like to say a few reasons why I believe that. Okay, I want to say that staff didn't create this program. You guys didn't create it. It's something that was adopted. I don't believe anybody was on the bias at that time. It was a particular moment in history where we had a recession and foreclosures, and nobody knew where these owners were because people were walking away from homes, banks were selling, there was all kinds of things. We were approached by private industry who kind of sold this program to you, and in partnership where they would work with the city and they would get a lot of money for making this list. Within the last 2 years, you severed that relationship because it's a failure. Program's been a failure. There may be 1 or 2 times when we gave you some information, but certainly the cost of the program didn't validate its existence. And now you're trying to run the program yourself without this partner, and it doesn't make any sense. I recently received 2 violation notices like that I have to register my properties to a regressive pay schedule that will go up every year without violating anything, 100, 400. For my 2 lots, it'll end up being $1,500 a year to be on your list without having had a code problem running. The claims I hear people making, staff up here, don't jive with the ordinance itself. I hear people talking about land banking is no good, code enforcement needs this to do their job. Neither is true. Code enforcement doesn't need the assistance of this list. They have everything they need to perform their job perfectly fine. This list does not help them. Secondly, I don't understand the mischaracterization of me being a landowner. Now I'm a land banker, which is a terrible thing to do. And it's been brought to my attention that it was people at the city felt like they would shoehorn in the vacant properties, because vacant properties are very different than abandoned nuisance properties. Very good. You shoehorned in. The euphemism is encourage me to get rid of my property. Right? Now, if you believe that it's land banking is evil, well, look, it's not included in the purpose and intent in the ordinance itself. It mentions nothing about land banking. So what many people are telling me just simply doesn't appear in the ordinance. And I have so much more. I would love to, meet with you each individually, but I'll bring one more thing to your attention. In letter K of the ordinance, by me signing up and having to pay this regressive penalty for land bank, or whatever it is you think I'm doing, you're also making.
Thank you, that's time.
Finish your sentence.
You're asking me to pledge to hold harmless staff that trespasses on my property. And I want you to look into that. You want me to give up my privacy rights also when I do this. So thank you for letting me finish my sentence, and thank you for what you did.
And just so that you know, we have really looked at the pricing, and we're not going above the first year because we are looking at redoing. But I think there's a consensus that $750 a year was the limit. That's all. We can't discuss it. We'll talk. Thank you. Up next, Mr. Kevin Jones.
Yes.
Followed by Daniel Strauss. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Kevis Jones. The last time I was here, the elevator was broken, so thanks for getting that fixed for me. I got a couple of issues. Number one, when are you guys gonna finish that road by the college?
Not ours to finish. County.
The county?
And we're as frustrated as you.
Yes. And the second issue, prostitution. I don't like that. It's women coming out late nights in the community and they all over the place. It's disgusting to me. So my thing is, you guys need to put more police officer out on duty and take them to jail because it's not good for the community. And the third thing that I want to issue about go-karts to take people down to downtown in our community. Because I believe you know, taking people to downtown community area and because there's too many people that's coming into our city and they need parking. So that's my thing is.
Thank you. It's good to see you again, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Daniel Stroud.
Good evening, my name is Dana Strauss, 101 South J Street. I'm not here just on behalf of myself, but also the other tenants in my apartment building who couldn't have a voice here tonight, so I wanted to try and be there for them as well. I've been a Lake Worth resident for just under 10 years. And I've been in a subsidized housing community since its inception through Goodwill Industry and just got partnered with Stopan Realty. And through the years, like I said, I've been part of the program since its inception. There's been a lot of progress, helping with homelessness, helping individuals find their way when they've gotten lost or any number of situations. As of recent, a lot of changes have occurred. Everything from a lot of code violations, anything from mold to insect infestation, air conditioning units that aren't getting repaired, refrigerators, things like that, health concerns. And now on top of that, since Stopan Realty has taken basically control and Goodwill is not really stepping in anymore, within less than 30 days, they have served almost, I would say at least 80% of the tenants with a 3-day eviction notice. Now granted, a few of those situations were a few tenants, including myself, I'm not gonna lie, that got a little behind on rent due to hardships, but were granted payment arrangements. They started handing them out out of the blue, even though those payment arrangements were agreed upon. I received one today. I don't know if you guys want to see the letter and see how absolutely outrageous. I mean, I'm sorry to be honest, and I actually wrote on the bottom, seeing the date that I actually received it. The amounts are not right. The addresses are not accurate except for the one on the top. The dates, and basically no one at Goodwill is stepping in. So beyond, so it's a combination of health issues that are not getting resolved. I've had a refrigerator that hasn't worked for over a month and they would not come out and take a look at it. The manager actually said to me, turn the refrigerator off for 3 days, turn it back on, it'll be fine. I said, what am I supposed to do with that? My stuff, get a whole bunch of coolers and ice. Where do I get that money? Not my problem. The president at Goodwill basically parroted that back when I called her. And I actually tried doing something to that effect. It did not work. I am still without a working refrigerator, and that's only one of many insect infestations. I mean, it's a really bad health situation, and we're talking about 15 people that are looking at eviction if they get away with what they're trying to do. So despite the health concerns, we were told that we had an opportunity to make good on our past rent or whatever the situation. That's not even all the tenants. They found other excuses essentially to try and remove us and get new tenants in with higher rent. They also promised from the inception of the program, that they would not raise the rent. They gave us about 1.5 months notice. They were raising the rent by $200 and only found out today, adding utilities of $125 per person for anybody who can get past these eviction notices. I'm scared, my neighbors, friends, tenants are scared. We've been homeless and, we'd rather not go back that route, especially when we've come as far as we have. I'm asking for any resources.
Thank you, that's time.
Would you write your phone number on this? You have a copy of it? Thank you. Thank you. Todd Velez?
Todd Velez, 530 North G. Lakewood. October 5th will be at 4 o'clock Saturdays. At Sunlight Church will be at Sunset Ridge Park Fall Fest, trunk or treat. Mark that down and they invite the heads of state with Lakewood and all the neighbors. Pumpkin Patch Palm Springs Baptist, that'll be mid-October through Halloween. Our Savior Lutheran Church had a nice Habitat for Humanity big production last Friday and last Friday. And thank you, your involvement, Sarah and Lake. Nazarene of Lake Worth Church, they will participate with the trunk or treat of Lake Worth, which I think is the 23rd, that 28th and the 25th. So they'll be having all the usual treats as well as everyone else. And they'll have a display of their involvement with Lake Worth, and they'll have some coveted images of how that church was built. And if you want to Nazarene, that was brought down by board and from an Army Air Force down in Boca. And there's a generic look to it, and they decided they'll keep the steeple off and burnt it. In those days, you could burn the steeple in the parking lot. And 110 North D is a hot spot, which is across from the at Lucerne, you know that.
I brought that to the attention of the police and
There has been some improvement, but it's still, they're like a virus. They just stick like mold on that corner.
Drug.
So, the 24-hour laundromat has been retitled. It's a new owner, Charles. He has chained the back door for overnight. I don't know how to pronounce it in Spanish, always clean, which I said, that's a tough one to live up to from ring around the collar. And he said, always headache every single day.
It's a lot of work.
So, but I feel it's an asset to have a laundromat 24-hour. And so there's improvement because they are becoming more proactive with things. The church, of course, Nazarene puts up with whatever that overflows, and I'm there to send them on their way. And keep doing that. And I've been given lip about it. The vacant lot, which you know who owns it, and it's great that he's made sure, and the overseers, Tony, and I've worked with them on removing trees because whatever's going there is going to clear that land out. Maybe 2 or 3 trees will stay, and that's the new sign at $2.2 million. So if you're going postal, which is a coined phrase from.
Thank you, that's time.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Okay, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Public hearings, ordinance 24-11.
You skipped over the minutes,
What?
the approval of minutes.
I forgot the approval of minutes.
You did.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
Maliga.
Thank you.
Public hearing, ordinance number 24-11, please read by title.
The ordinance 2024-11, an ordinance of the city of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending chapter 23 land development regulations, article 4 development standards, section 23.4-25 micro units, and approves providing for severability, complex codification, and efficiency.
Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
B, ordinance number 24-16, second reading.
Ordinance 2024-16, an ordinance by the city of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending chapter 9 buildings and structural regulations, article 1 in general, and providing for severability, complex codification, and an effective date.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Ordinance number 24-15, first reading.
Ordinance 2024-15, an ordinance by the city of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending chapter 23 land development regulations, article 7 floodplain management, and providing for severability, complex codification, and an effective date.
Oh, do I have a motion?
Motion.
All in favor?
Second.
I'll second that.
Jumping. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you, madam. Commission liaison reports and comments. Let's start with District 1.
Aren't we missing one still?
No, that
No.
was.
Oh. Oh,
That was
that's
moved to
okay.
Thank you all for, supporting the proclamation for Grant Chapel. I truly appreciate that. I attended yesterday the Florida Alliance for Community Solutions Annual Summit, Partnering for Equitable Futures. And I was invited, I think we all got an email from Joan, CRA Executive Director, in regards to this summit. And it basically was a roundtable of all the who's in non-for-profits and finance. And every bank, like every single bank, I've never seen anything where every bank sponsors an event and there's only 70 people in the room. And these were the heads of all of these banks who support nonprofits in the housing crisis. And grant writing, and it was very informative. Met some really good people that gave me are available for low income, first time home buyers. And attended a whole conversation on the importance of being ready for emergencies and disasters. And it was kind of perfect timing because what just happened. And it's nice to see that everybody's talking about the things that we're concerned about. So that was very eye-opening, and I want to thank Joan for sending me the information to attend that. Otherwise, it's just been, I feel like we've been together a lot. I feel as though I feel like I've seen my counterparts more in the last 2 weeks than we've seen in a while. The mayor and I both will be heading to Orlando for Florida League of Cities on Thursday, turning around and driving back Friday night after session, because I will be overseeing the NAPC meeting in behalf of Ms. Mimi, because she will be snorkeling with fifth graders or something more fun than the NAPC at 9 a.m. I guess. That's all I got.
Thank you, and that's our legislative committee. Okay, District 2.
Thank you. I guess, the past 2 weeks, we've had about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we've had lots of activities in the Guatemalan Maya community. 2 weekends ago, or Friday, I guess, the Guatemalan Maya Center had a festival of St. Michael de San Miguel, where they choose a princess for the year. Their process is quite a bit of training. About 4 or 5 young women in the community apply to do it, and they work with people. They each have to give a little bit of a speech and they usually do it in all 3, in English, Spanish, and one of whatever their native Mayan language is. And then they have some various ceremonies and dance. So that was the Guatemala Maya Center did one, as I mentioned, about 2 weeks ago. This past weekend, another cultural organization that's based partly here in Lake Worth. There's a lot of folks in Lake Worth and some in West Palm Beach. Maya Iqbalam also did a festival at Bryant Park. The mayor kindly came and spoke and welcomed folks at that. They also choose a princess. Their scheme is a little bit different, but similar requirements for the women. And they, in both cases, both organizations, those women then become ambassadors for the community and speak at various events to initiate things. It's a very positive thing, and it's positive for me. I've gotten involved with it a fair amount. Positive to see it as a building of leadership, building of pride in the community. The amount of cultural things we have in Lake Worth from that community is really pretty impressive. So happy to have been involved in that. My other area is totally unrelated to that, but a little bit concerned. We have, if I'm not mistaken, a workshop on Monday, joint workshop with the CRA concerning quite major redevelopment project in our downtown. And I was wondering if our attorney might be able to read for us what our rules are on backup for meetings and workshops. You happen to have that available? Or if you
Pop quiz question.
You have
Really,
that
that's so
available.
unfair.
possibly the city attorney could read it for us.
Do you know where it is, or is that?
It's in our rules.
Well, I understand that.
Your rules are not, I'd have to have them with me.
Right.
And I don't have them with me, so if you let me know ahead of time, I can bring them.
Yeah, really.
You can read it.
It,
Do you have it?
the,
Is there, what's the rule? What's the problem?
well, the problem is that particularly for things that have a lot of significance to the community, we have rules, that we reviewed recently in July and in August. And those rules say that agenda distribution deadline for distributing a final agenda with supporting documents shall be no later than Friday, 2 weeks prior to the regularly scheduled city meeting. For all special or workshop city commission meetings, the agenda with supporting documents will be distributed consistent with the time frame referenced above. Well, 2 Fridays, 2 weeks, the Friday 2 weeks prior to Monday the 7th is not Tuesday, October 1st. Or am I mistaking something? And I think those rules are quite clear that we are supposed to give the community and the commission 2 weeks prior to a meeting, whether it's a regular meeting, a workshop, a special meeting. We're supposed to give the community the backup so that it can be reviewed, questions can be made, people can call up their commission to ask questions. We did not do that.
It's not really backup, it's a presentation.
Let me read again for your benefit. For all special or workshop city commission meetings, the agenda with supporting document will be distributed consistent with the time frame referenced above. Same rules as for regular meeting. The backup, the concept behind it is not complicated. It says simply that the community needs to have that amount of time. That's what we've agreed upon. We reviewed those rules twice, July and in August. We did not change them. I have a difficulty with, as somebody who is supposed to represent the community, we have rules that says that we should get this stuff out and available to the community, and we chose not to follow it. And I've heard some of my fellow commissioners say, you know, if the rules, they have to apply. You have to apply to everyone. So I'm not comfortable at all that a project of this magnitude, which has many moving parts to it, and certainly influences our downtown, it certainly is of interest to the community, is we've not followed our rules on providing the backup to people. And I guess I'd like to hear from my fellow commissioners what they feel of it.
I mean, this is. The backup is the presentation, which is gonna be presented to us at the workshop. There's nothing that we have other than what, and if anyone has been interested in the project, there's been multitudes of opportunities to get the information and to listen to the.
That
No, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not gonna get into arguing with you. Okay, you raised an issue, you're looking for feedback. Ms. Malaga?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I see this project and its backup just as if Ms. Whitfield, the school board lady who was here earlier, or Cindy Ansel, who was here earlier, that was not part of our backup. It's a presentation. And I don't want to cut and carve and say, well, for this person, a presentation's a presentation. And we always give direction. Please make sure this is available after the meeting on the website for everyone else to see, because we don't see the presentations until we sit here. So to me, that's not backup. Backup is tangible data. And we all had one-on-ones for other information that we needed to have over 2 weeks ago. Maybe some have been 3 weeks ago, even though some had to reschedule or whatever happened. So I don't feel that, and I agree, we have rules. We have rules for a reason, which is why I thanked you all for supporting the proclamation that I asked to have put on the agenda. But I do not see this as staff backup. I do not see this as backup in general. This to me is just as another presentation that we just need a much bigger space to facilitate.
And there'll be no vote, there'll be no public
No vote, no
comment.
action,
It's
nothing.
all
And the next day, there will be a vote. The next week, there will be a vote. So the materials, even for the meeting the next week, is not being put out according to our rules.
Well, it's on the website right now.
Yeah, as of today, but
I'm not
unless,
arguing. You've
unless
said
somebody.
you made your statement and just keep.
So what I'm hearing from my colleagues is that we have rules, we choose to enforce them sometimes, and if it's a big project with a lot of influence on the city, we choose not to enforce it.
Don't get into an argument. Don't get into an argument.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to offer some clarification. For presentations, we usually do not get them. We request them the Friday before the meeting that they're presented at. We got it today, so we presented it today. The agenda for the 15th is not scheduled to be published until the 4th. So it will go out on Friday. If this item is on that agenda, then it will be published on the 4th.
Thank you. Mr. Brown.
Shayla just covered it. I just wanted to make sure everyone was clear that there is no backup for the informational presentation on Monday. The only thing we provided today, obviously, what Shayla just said was the presentation, which will be given on Monday. But again, that's not typically issued. It's just like a regular commission meeting. You guys will sometimes request that the presentation after it's given, can that be added to the work or to the website so they can go back and look at it, which we do. But again, we added that today. Not necessary for us to add that. That's not really backup. Also, there's nothing to add.
Right.
We also don't include with the presentation an agenda or a staff write-up.
Right.
We did provide a short memo to go along with that, but again, that's not something with the presentation that's typically provided, so that's not even backup either.
And both the CRA and the city commission have been tracking this for many, many months now, and it's a conversation between the CRA and the city commission. So, again, no public comment, so it's just an opportunity for us to talk about what we've been studying, hopefully, for many months. So thank you. Anything else, Mr. McBoy?
No, thank you.
Thank you. District 3.
Thank you. Yeah, so I am going snorkeling with 36 12-year-olds. And that it's the best trip of the year. It's so fun, you guys.
That's not the age they leak, right?
They don't leak. So that's a good age. No, but it's a great trip and I look forward to it every year. Because we get to learn about we go down to the Keys and we get to snorkel in the bay and in Pennycam. Yeah, but it's not right at John.
Right, they take you out.
Right, so we get to do both of the ecosystems. So we have the mangroves in the bay and then we get to go out into the ocean and do the reef and they get to learn about fish. Oh, it's really cool. But anyway, I digress. City wise, I wanted to thank the vice mayor for going to that APC. I forgot that you were away too, and I apologize that you had to come back for that. I will unfortunately be missing the little scream because I'm gonna go to the League of Cities Institute for Elected Municipal officials. Number two, because the woman that's doing it and has been doing it for the last 30 years, it's her last one. Yeah, Lynn, so she's done, it's her last one and I just didn't want to miss it. So I'm going and hoping to learn a lot to bring back. I am concerned about the devastation from Helene. And, I did ask whether or not I don't know that we do this and I don't know if you got my email, but where we have the water, is there any way we can send Lake Worth water? Like bottled water to help, or is that not labeled for distribution?
That is something I'll definitely have to look into, because I know we have not done that in the past. We did send, multiple crews up.
Right, I know we sent Mobile Cruise, but I was just thinking we could help with bottled water as well.
I'll have to look at that.
A resident brought that to me and thought that might be a good idea, so I just thought I would share that. I don't know if we can do it or not. I did go to the meeting last night where the WMODA presentation for, anybody who wanted to go, at Coastal Realty or whatever it's called. And they went through the project. The presentation that she used last night was the presentation that was posted today, so there was nothing hidden. It was exactly the same one they used for the CRA meeting, a couple weeks ago as well. So that presentation has been put out to the public. One of the questions that the librarian had asked me was, could the space in the front be used as a place to showcase some of the Lake Worth Beach Historic Museum stuff? And so I asked that question and the answer was yes. You know, there's gonna be about 2,000 square feet of space, community space, that as a leisure services, as well as the city, as well as the museum, we can use to showcase anything basically that we want to, that has to do with the arts and Lake Worth Beach. And other than that, I'm still fighting the illegal dumping. It's amazing how many mattresses there are in the city. And I just kind of want to say it publicly that it is not legal to just put your mattress on the street.
Yeah.
Okay, it is not legal just to decide that you don't want something anymore and to put it out if it is not the bulk garbage day, which is the third week of the month. It's disrespectful to our city and it's disrespectful to the residents. And I'm not giving up on this because I think that if we really, that's where we start. So that's what I got. Thank you.
District 4.
Thank you. It also costs us a lot of money to dump those mattresses, so. You know, people often complain about or wonder about where our tax dollars go, and if you've ever cleared a lot or done any kind of like construction or demo work and you've driven a truckload to, you know, Lantana I-95 and dump stuff, it's not free. It's not free for any of us and it's not free for the city either, so. Especially with all the rain we've gotten, all those soggy mattresses, they're a little bit heavy, so. We've met a lot, so it's all kind of blurring together. Seems like a couple weeks ago now, or maybe 10 days ago, we had our TPA governing board meeting. And a good takeaway from there is we passed a amendment to our TIP, which is the Transportation Improvement Program, which is basically 5-year funding for municipalities. And there's, you know, it's one amendment that has literally hundreds of projects, and there's stuff on there for us as well. But it's a good moment to highlight a common question that I often get is like, well, we get questions, you know, all the time, like even tonight, Mr. James, you asked, well, what's the status on whatever road construction, or who's doing this and who's doing that? Well, a good tool that the TPA has on their website, which is palmbeachtpa.org. If, you know, it takes a little bit of clicking, but if you look for the tip thing on the top, it'll eventually lead you to an interactive map, and that map links you to all of the projects that are included on this amendment in the next 5 years. And it really kind of lays out all the work that is being done through the TPA, which of course isn't like, it's not going to be, well, of course I was going to say this, but it does include a lettered street. It's not like our lettered, like chances are it's not your neighborhood street, but like Lake and Lucerne, 6th Avenue, Dixie, especially Federal, all the DOT, all the, the major ones, I-95 is. I'm gonna lay this out on you. There's gonna be some construction on our area of I-95 coming up, so add that to the mix of everything, but it's good. It's all resurfacing things, a notable one is our southeast coast and our South H Street is, on target. It's about almost $8 million, and then that funding starts in 2025, which is part of this amendment, so progress is happening, and maybe that's a good way to highlight, because this amendment passed 10 days ago, and, the funding starts in 2025, and that's not even the construction date, right? That's like, right, the construction, that's design and starting of the process, so, we hear your concerns, the roads need love, there's a statutory regulatory process that we have to abide by as government, and believe us, we share the same critique that we wish it could go even just a smidge faster, but these are the timelines we work with, and it is so exciting that it's happening. So that map, just come back to it, that map is a really good tool just to see where we're at and what's getting funded.
I think we have roads right now, right? Like.
Yeah, you often,
People don't.
yeah, we often take things for granted of what could happen. We talk about preparedness, and, I have a lot of friends in the Riverkeeper movement in Western North Carolina. One of them was actually on CNN because he's just to check in on his elderly parents who he hadn't heard from in over 48 hours. He had to hike 22 miles and literally climb a couple mountains just to see them. And it's because the roads are washed away, and they don't even, I don't even, the first priority obviously is to get people safe. They haven't even touched on what that costs, like and, it's clearly gonna be in the billions and billions, and, puts things in perspective. That pothole is awful, but it could be so much, it could be so much worse, but it's not like we're not conscious of it, so we're working on it. I also went to the GMC's event, the Festival of San Miguel. It's really impressive that these high school girls, like, they go up there and they speak all their languages, like going from one to the other. And I'm a little bit jealous because I never learned my native language, but as much as I don't always dream of trying, it's a challenging thing, and it's so impressive that not only do they do that, but they're good students, and they're all really good volunteers, because volunteering is just so good for our souls and our human development, and so to see that community really stand up and do that, and to celebrate these girls in such an awesome way, it was really cool to see, and really cool to see the couple hundred people, would you say, at least? There's a lot of people in that room, and then that one I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, but it was the other one, the Festival of San Miguel. But that was at the Polish American Club out west. And yeah, it's such a good reminder of how big they are in our community. There's, that's such a substantial portion of our community, and they often don't get necessarily the loudest voice on a lot of these issues, including road construction, although on there is, of course, the stuff happening around the high school. Other than that, I have my Lake Worth Lagoon Initiative meeting in a couple weeks, and that should be exciting because we get to hear about our application for funding requests. So,
How are we doing?
I think we have a good shot. They're going to Tallahassee for us, so it's all on them. But I will say lobbyists don't like to deal in absolutes, but their lobbyists have been doing really well in that program, and batting a really high batting average. So I'm pretty excited about this session. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a few things on the, last week I was at the latest meeting of the Lake Worth High School Leadership Committee. This is a committee that they have, they try to help the kids at the Lake Worth High School. They have a clothing drive, they have racks for clothes that kids can go in. They have their, every day at Lake Worth High School, there's a bus parked for open to the public health testing, health treatment. It's there, it's free. And I would love to get the word out more on that. Attendance and dropping out was the biggest problem, and this leadership committee would love to find, a couple months ago, they had a wonderful event where they had, in the morning, they had a Zumba instructor just to wake them all up. And then the Bank of America came and gave this amazing talk to them about credit and credit cards and financing, and just, I wish somebody had done that in my high school. It was wonderful, and we're gonna try to continue to do that. But they also do need volunteers like everybody else to help and come in with the high school kids and just, you know, support them and help them with tutoring and just help them with being mentors. They want to do a little more outreach. I'm a member of the Palm Beach County Bar Local Government, appropriate, and we're doing a program where we're supposed to explain the homeless law, and we're really curious how we're gonna do that. The Scream at the Green is going to be wonderful, and the Good Witches of Lake Worth Beach will be performing at 7 and 7:45. We're very excited about that. And we're also going to be participating with the approval and request of the of Hatch to be in the Day of the Dead parade. So we're going to adapt our costumes a little bit. We're going to get rose crowns instead of witches' hats and march with them. And I said, is this not appropriation? And they said, no, it's fine. It's wonderful. Please join us. So there we go. A couple of, the pre-agenda meeting, 3 of us are going to be out of town, so maybe we shouldn't have the pre-agenda meeting this week unless, Sarah and I will be in meetings and she'll be snorkeling. So I don't think.
With fish.
Yeah, she'll be meeting with the fishes. She swims with the fishes.
Hopefully not the jellyfish.
I guess it's our opportunity to load everything we want on the agenda, right? Yeah.
You don't have a forum.
Yeah.
So I just noticed to staff, I don't think we should have one if we don't have a forum and save a little time for everybody.
Does that mean we can go snorkeling with fish?
Wherever you want to do that. A few weeks ago, a man from District 1 came up and was talking about, you know, the cleanliness of his neighborhood, you know, keeping with your clean and green, which we're sort of slowly getting into some kind of thing. And I met with him later. He came here and I said, you know, let's start with one small thing. And we're gonna take his neighborhood, 6 blocks around his neighborhood. He's got some problem properties that we're gonna report. We're gonna look at trash on the street, you know. It's one thing, it's wonderful that we get people go in and do, you know, trash pickups in neighborhoods, but come on, people. It's your neighborhood. Let's get a little pride in our own neighborhood, that outsiders don't have to come and pick up your trash. So we're gonna try to work with him a little bit and just, you know, keep that momentum going. And on November 2nd at 11 o'clock in the morning, the Lake Worth Playhouse is one of the most remarkable things we have in the city. If you've not been inside the Lake Worth Playhouse, it is 100 years old, about 100 years old, and it's untouched. It's Becky ceilings. It's an amazing venue, and they put up really remarkable shows. And on the 2nd, at I believe 11 in the morning, they're giving a history talk about the Lake Worth Playhouse. And I believe it's free. I'm not really sure, but I would love to see a lot of people come out and get more acquainted with our wonderful, wonderful Lake Worth Playhouse. And you can make a donation. I think I'm done. Remember agenda. Screen on the green. I can't think of anything else.
I actually forgot something because it.
Go ahead.
Just,
You'll have one forgotten item.
yeah, especially since we're not having a pre-agenda, because I think we kind of need consensus on this, but you mentioned, Commissioner May, I had the same talk with Cindy about our museum, and out of that came a really good idea. And I've thought about this before. I know it's come up in some of our conversations about empty storefronts and like the window coverings and how can we do better. Well, how about the idea of, in the meantime that we're planning to work on the annex, we can do little historical displays in some of those windows of the museum. But I think what's needed a consensus, because it's a lot more complicated than just asking property owners, can we put this stuff up? We're gonna have to develop like, you know, some kind of legal agreement or something like that. And if it's okay with everyone, like, can we start taking a look at that?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, and some places do have, if you do have an empty storefront that you put in some art like hype.
Right.
Right, but not for sale, just, the buildings are closed, but it's a display which looks better than just an empty storefront. So, I love that idea. I was looking in the back of the room at Deanna. That might be, we figure, I don't know how many else feels, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
If we can get our, property owners to,
I think there's at least one that I could talk to that'd probably be pretty friendly to it, and, but it all comes down to figuring out, liability, all that stuff.
well, that would be Cindy and
Yeah.
maybe the high school art department.
That too.
Because they're pretty active in the
That
community
too.
as well. Okay, thank you. Ms. Malega.
Thank you. So I was gonna bring this up at the pre-agenda, but since we're not having it, back to your dumping in the clean and green. I took a picture tonight in between going home to dinner, and not to call it any certain buildings, but everybody moves at the end of the month. And this one particular building that I sent a picture to Mr. Brown. I think that we should move our bulk pickup to the first week of the month for the entire city. And it's gonna happen right away, because we got things that we just printed all of our schedules, and we just spent money on all of that. So if we could get consensus to maybe start January 1st, doing bulk on the first week, because we have to find the budget and the $8,000 to reprint schedules but it doesn't make sense to me that it's at the end of the month.
Well, let's have consensus.
Or the third.
Let's have consensus to the staff and let the staff work on that.
But I mean, do we all
Do we have
agree that
consensus?
that's crazy, that's the third week of the month instead of the first?
Well,
I
I would just give Jamie a thought, and I'll bet there's a reason how it landed on that date.
Well, that's all.
Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe it was our.
Not really.
It's SWA.
Yes, and thank you for bringing this forward on day one of
Oh, yeah,
FY twenty-five, after the budget process.
I usually am better at this. I'm sorry. You know what? If you didn't give us 18 meetings in a month, I may have been able to think through this process before.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier, but, no issue with that. Obviously, all of our, pamphlets, all of our documentation, everything that has been printed, everything is based on, the third week of each month being bulk and the other 3 weeks being vegetation. We have not, we basically see piles out on the wrong day throughout the month. And there is really no consistent, rhyme or reason. I don't know if it's no longer the case that the end of the month is when people are evicted. It seems that people kind of move in throughout the month, people move out throughout the month. So there hasn't been an overwhelming, in the past at least, where we see the first week of the month is where everything is out. It happens the second week, it happens the third week, it happens the fourth week. There's really no consistent thing. So I don't know if we're gonna see a big difference by doing that. Again, we can definitely look into doing that. It's just a matter of all of our current material, other than what can easily change the website, obviously. And whatever we currently have at home and all of our printed, it all says the third week. So we would have to get rid of all that and all the boxes we currently have printed, reprint all of that to change the week. And again, I'm not sure, based on what we see out there on the ground, if that's really gonna make that much of a difference, because you see the same amount of material out.
Renters always rent on the first of the month. People who buy a home, it's different.
But no,
You can-
right.
But
I think-
renters,
Well, let's listen to staff. I have, Amy has her light on, and I was gonna say, there was some talk about if we should have a rolling. I think people need to understand that even if the day is the third, whatever, the third week of the month, if you see a pile and you call the city, they will come out and deal with it. I'm told. I mean, then I see a smirk on your face.
We have the line item with the citations. You see exactly how much we bring in every single year from people putting in material wrong day, illegal dumping, all that. So we have a substantial revenue stream that comes in that goes right back to the operation because of all that. So we are out there citing.
Can I,
Just- there's a lot.
I just have a question, and you may, if you don't know it off the top of your head, that's fine. I'm thinking financially. Would picking up another week of bulk be more expensive than driving around at random times to pick up? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, 'cause there's some cities that do bulk every week. And people that I've talked to live in all other cities are like, what do you mean you can only put it out once a month? And I thought it was once a month everywhere, but according to other people, that's not true. At least for me growing up, it was once a month. I don't know if it could be more than once a month. and how that would work financially. I don't know.
We would just have to look at our rate, which is our non-ad valorem, the once a year, because obviously we have a second week for bulk, which is all heavy stuff. everyone puts
Right.
out. Our rate is based on basically our current program. And what we end up having to pay the solid waste authority when we take everything to the transfer station.
Mhm.
Because sometimes people don't realize that the city pays for every single thing we pick up off the ground and take to the transfer station. You go over the weight scale. The
Right.
truck goes over the scale. So that's why we have to cite people, and we'll have people calling, oh, you cited me too much. I'm like, we cited you for the extra material you had out, because the city can't subsidize all the material we're collecting from you if you go well over the actual allocated amount. So we would have to look at the rate that is being charged if we were gonna add on another week of bulk.
Right, no, I completely
Because
understand
that's
that.
gonna completely change our formula.
So going to what you just said about this fee, so if I put out something extra with my trash, it could be picked up and then I could be charged,
What's something extra you're talking about?
mattress. Cause I know the mattresses that I've talked to you guys about, usually if there's garbage can, mattress, the garbage cans get dumped, the mattress gets left.
Yeah.
And that's only because that's a different truck that will
Okay.
collect that. So if you're being collected, it could be a one arm, it could be a rear load. The rear load has guys in the back that just put the bin on the back, it's dumped automatically.
Oh, so they're completely different.
They're
trucks.
completely different
I
vehicles.
see, okay. Well, and I kind of know this, but I also think the community might want to know that as well.
Yeah, because people will call and say, hey, you only picked up some of my stuff. I'm like, well, your cans are probably collected. But
Right.
we need the claw truck and the ducker for other material if you have other stuff out there.
Right,
So it's not the same vehicle.
got it. And there really isn't time or manpower to do the regular pickups and go back and get the claw pickup.
Well, they're different routes.
I
So,
understand that.
so there are every single week or every single day or every single week, someone's recycling is getting collected, someone's regular trash is getting collected, veg being collected. So depending on what district you're in,
Mhm.
depends on what is being collected on what day, but all those services are running every single day.
Right.
So it just depends on what.
No, I guess I'm asking for the extra service of having to go pick up an illegal dump,
We have trucks out there running every day doing that.
doing that as well.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted everybody to know, that it's not just,
Yep, and our foremen are the ones that are out, and they're actually documenting where, we have to take photos of everything. Because people will call in, I didn't have that much material out, no, well, we have the ruler laid out, we have the photo, everything is documented, so we have all the evidence, because we're not gonna, but we have to make sure that we are dotting our i's, crossing our t's and everything, and making
Right.
sure that we are actually charging adequately. We don't want to overcharge people. We just want to make sure that, we're not in this to make a revenue. We're going to make sure that we're covering our operation and providing service to all our residents, business owners.
perfect,
So,
thank you.
yep.
Thank you. All right. City managers report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, happy FY 25. Day one, everything resets today. Obviously, we talked about earlier, the WMOTA meeting next Monday at the casino building. The following night, just if anyone doesn't know the schedule, the following night at the CRA meeting is when they would be considering that project to move forward. A week after that, on the 15th, is when it'll be coming to all of you. To see if you guys would like that project to move forward. We did receive both of our signed contracts today from the lobbyists that you guys selected, so that will be on the October 15th meeting for approval. The following Tuesday on October 22nd, you guys probably have a placeholder on your calendars. We're waiting to make sure we got both contracts in on time for the actual lobbyist meeting. So that would be a workshop where you guys will have both of the selected firms here to discuss how we want to move forward. So starting next week in your one-on-ones, Troy and I will be giving you a full packet. It kind of consolidates all of our CIP, like all of our different projects, all the potential, all the possibilities for what we might want to move forward with during session this upcoming year, and how we want to kind of move forward with the lobby, so you guys can kind of start formulating a plan. And then what will also have to be discussed on that meeting is, how do you guys want this to work with two and not one? And we'll talk about all that during our one-on-ones as well. So on the 22nd, that'll kind of be the start of this whole process with the new, or one of the same, but, yeah.
I
Session.
voted to approve that to be teeny, but I still am very unhappy with that whole two-party outfit. We're gonna have to try to make it work.
So that'll be on the 22nd.
Other
On the 22nd, so we'll have them under contract at that point in time. Also, I didn't see it listed on the upcoming meetings and workshops, but a week from this Thursday on October 10th will be the beach complex, professional services evaluation for all of you, and the shortlisting. So we have the 5 firms that put in, you guys will arrive at that meeting, we'll have all the conversation, everything, you'll shortlist those 5 to 3, which will be coming back, that first week of November to give back a presentation.
So that's a workshop with no public, I just wanna make.
So the way that's gonna work is just the way that the lobbyists meeting works.
It's open to the public.
Well, so for the evaluation meeting, there will be no public comment because that is for all of you to do all of the
Right.
evaluating and do the actual matrix and everything else and do the shortlisting. So that is open to the public, but there will be no public comment because you don't have public comment at evaluation. Now, when, I think it's November 7th, I'll have to double check the date, when they come back for the presentation, just like for the lobbyist services, the public, it will not be present for the actual presentations. They cannot be present for the presentations.
Jamie, it
Once-
can't be the 7th because we have Florida League of Cities.
Let me check, see what that date is.
It's in November 7th.
Unless, Shayla, if you're listening, you have to know off the top of your
Yeah,
head
we'll be out of town.
in November. What that date
The next
is.
weekend is Tampa.
My calendar is October 30th.
Is it 30th?
There's the.
Yeah, so the
Yeah, so
evaluation
it's
meeting is
Wednesday.
October 10th,
And Wednesday,
and October 30th is the presentation.
so we have a 3-week turnaround.
Okay.
So on the 30th, which is Wednesday, the rare Wednesday meeting, will be the actual selection after the shortlist. So the way it'll work is that the 3 firms will come, they'll do their presentations, which the public will not be present for, they can't be present for the presentation. Once the presentations are over, then the meeting opens up to the public and they can come in for all of the conversation and the actual selection.
Is it gonna be a 10-minute presentation again per person or per organization or?
I believe Valentina, we'll confirm with Valentina, but I believe she set it up the exact same way that she did for lobby services, where that was 15, and then there was 10 minutes for questions and everything, comments and all that other stuff. So that'll work the same way. So
That's not what we did for the lobbyists. For the lobbyists, they came, all 5 came in for 6. And then we picked them.
No.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I mean, all in the same night.
correct, because it's a little different situation for lobbyists for this. Once these get shortlisted, they need a couple weeks to put together a presentation. And then
Okay.
come back and give to you.
Okay, so we're gonna shortlist them based on their printed materials.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Because mainly just for time, because I don't know if you guys want to sit through 5. I see nods over there. The whole point and the reason you shortlist is so you don't have to sit through a full night of presentation, especially if there are only 3 that you really want to hear from. So that's why we shortlisted that, just in the interest of time.
So the second meeting is 3 and we pick from those.
Correct. Next Thursday, you'll shortlist from 5 to 3. They'll have a couple weeks to put together their presentations. Those 3 will come and give their presentations. Then you guys will make your selection based on the presentations. That is all I have.
Amy. I is the October 7th joint workshop.
6 o'clock at the casino building.
Thank you.
City attorney, you have a report for us?
I do not, thank you.
So so the homeless thing, we got all that covered.
I'm
October
actually
1st.
meeting with the sheriff's office tomorrow to discuss the ordinance that we've been working on for you all.
Great, thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, thank you very much. I think it was Ramsey who seconded it. She's getting a lot of control, girl. Would someone like to second the actual motion?
Back in tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
It sounded like.